Hello and welcome to the behind the scenes of the Sonics Have Love Will Travel re-record episode and plug-in review of TUPE, the new forthcoming plugin from Goodhertz, which is like a tape tube saturation thing with a filter. You'll see in a second. It's really cool. I enjoyed using it a lot. I think I kind of pushed it to the rougher end of its capabilities, but I think in a very subtle way as well, it could be an amazing thing. Anyway, let's check it out. Here is TUPE, and you've got a tube circuit and a tape circuit. Here you choose which tube, and here you choose which tape. And I've only just realized that you can flip it around the other way, so you can get tape going in through tube as well. So then here's the bias settings for the tube and the tape. That changes how the tape or the tube react to the sound going through it. To me, it sort of kills the bottom end the more bias you have, or the higher the bias goes. But it gets kind of harsher, which sometimes is cool. Then there's a noise circuit, which adds some kind of tube noise or adds some tape hiss. Very cool. There's a mix thing here, so simple, but with a plugin like this, just a mix fader is just so powerful. Here's the drive, so that's pushing the tape or the tube or both harder, but then in here you have individual kind of drive things too. So I guess this is just like an overall drive. And then here's the output, and then here's the filter thing, which is, it's really cool. I love having a harmonic thing with an EQ thing. Like I love Decapitator. This feels like Decapitator Mark II or something, You've got much more control over the distortion element and much more control over the EQ thing, So this is basically the filter, and it works very simply. You have a high point and a low point, which are basically kind of like cuts, but also they can become shelves. They can sort of just become anything really. Once they get into the middle, and they become like bells. Yeah, I guess they are just like very steep bells. I mean, it's just like a sort of like a synth filter or something. And then this like moves the whole thing up and down, which is just very useful. It's just super intuitive. For me, this became the kind of magic thing up here, was the pre and post, because having it pre, you're pushing the filtered sound into this circuit here, which always took a bit of top end off. I guess just that's how the way I was using it always did. But I ended up really liking post, where you get all the distortion. Then you can really, especially for this Sonics song, you can really preserve that kind of harsh top end and kind of sculpt it. And yeah, anyway, I got really into this post thing. Also, there's this tilt. It's just so good. It's really got everything you need to really shape the sound, This is just basically magnifying the curve. Like killer plugin. I just want to show you what the filter sounds like, because it's really strong, It's a real character thing. It's not subtle. You could use it subtly, but it's also just a kind of fat filter. So I'm just going to solo the drums, and let's just listen to this. I'm just going to play around with it and let you hear it. And then you get this kind of self-oscillating thing too, which is kind of cool. Like cool if you put it pre, because then you get all the character of the tape and the tube, and you can just push it in there. Anyway, yeah, that's it. Yeah, like 4 different types of tube, 2 different types of tape, and then just one which doesn't go through the tape at all, the opto limiter. Yeah, I just sort of experimented until I found something which seemed to work with whatever the instrument I was using was. Anyway, I'm going to go through and play you all the different instruments, and then you'll see how this thing came together. It was mainly the room mic. I put a mono room mic up. I actually overdubbed extra hi-hats in the end because I just couldn't get it right, and yeah, I wanted it, yeah, anyway, whatever. I just overdubbed hi-hats because it just wasn't sounding right. So there's like 2 lots of hi-hats on there. But the main sound really is just this room mic. With the extra hi-hats. The snare mic and stuff, it's not really doing anything. It's just adding some sort of glue. Hardly any kick mic in there, you know. It's just very basic. It's just very much the room sound. So, and as for all the kind of tube settings that I had, this is the close snare mic. I was just experimenting really with tube types and tape types, and then obviously here I'm using some pretty extreme EQs. This is the overhead. Yeah, just trying to get that mid-range. It's all about that mid-range with this kind of thing, you know. Boom. Like just loads of presence. That's the overdubbed hi-hats. That was the room mic. That was nothing in the end. I didn't use that. And then to glue the whole thing together is this setup here. Which, yeah, I mean, I'm actually using the bias pretty high on the drums. Just, yeah, killing that bottom end a bit and just making that kind of mushy but kind of spiky, like letting the snare cut through. Anyway, there you go. So then the guitar, that iconic guitar sound, which I was quite pleased with. I think I got it pretty close actually. That was my old like knackered Hofner electric guitar through my Vibrachamp. It sounds like this. Yeah, so basically that was the room mic mainly, and a bit of the close amp mic, but mainly the room mic, and with these settings on tube. So that was the room, and this was the close mic. But you can see down here I was mainly using the room. Same kind of story with the bass, more room than close mic. These were the settings that I had. That's the close mic. This is the room. And it sounds like this. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a cool bass sound. Super roomy. That's my Hofner through my rerun bass head. Yeah, super roomy. But with this, you can just compress that room, you know, just bring it up with this drive thing. And piano, not obviously apparent on the recording, but it is there. You can hear the glissandos at the beginning of each verse and stuff. And the more I listened, the more I could kind of hear it actually quite clearly. So, tube on the piano, and it sounded like this. Yeah, and like so interestingly here, I'm using the filter post the tube and tape circuit, which means I can keep that top end, so it can still like kind of poke out of the mix, you know. That's what I noticed, that if I have this on pre, it's really hard to use this tube and tape bit and keep top end, because obviously it just gets kind of like mangled to nothing. So this is a really powerful thing, just this post and pre. So then I did the sax using a kazoo, which I broke on my last attempt at the solo, which was kind of perfect. I did a good take, and then the kazoo just exploded, and yeah, there you go. So here was the kind of main sax, which kind of vamps all the way through the whole song. Again, EQ post the tube and tape circuit, so I can get that kind of really raspy, bright thing going. But I actually thought it sounded like not that bad, even though it's a kazoo. Anyway, see what you think. I mean, okay, it sounds ridiculous, but when it's in the mix, it kind of works, you know. That's how it goes. Okay, then the solo, which same kind of vibe, except the EQ is way more bright, because I wanted it to be leaping out of the speakers, cutting through. That sounds like this. Okay, that's more than enough of that. And then the vocal, again, post the EQ, post the tube and tape circuit, because it needs that kind of detail somehow. I don't know. This is a really powerful plugin. It's very deep, and every button can completely change everything. Right, here's the vocal. Here's the vocal.
Wild love, oh baby, we'll travel. Have love, oh baby, we'll travel. I said if you need loving, then I'll travel.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to do a handheld mic for this because something tells me, listening to the recording, I'm probably wrong, but something's telling me that he was holding the mic just from, you can kind of hear handling noise and stuff, and there's this kind of proximity effect thing, and I don't know, like, that's just what I thought, and I could get way more into it holding the mic, so that's what I did. Yeah, then on the main master bus, I had this setting, yeah, just messing around until it started to sound right, basically. So there you go. If you want to see the finished thing in all its glory, then check out the main re-record video. Go and buy this plugin or pre-order it because it is totally killer, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the very finished thing looks. I'm sure it won't be too much different, but yeah, I think I'm a big fan already. So subscribe to my channel, please, and check out the Building an Idea Farm video, which explains the next few years, the big project, building a new studio in Sweden, amongst other things. Yeah, that's it. I'll see you next time. Lots of love, look after each other, and goodbye.